Today, I'm making a video that I always said that I wouldn't make. Now, when I started this channel, I said to myself, I don't want to be reviewing pieces of equipment that I don't like. And I don't want to moan about or slag off companies that create bad pieces of equipment. So the way that we normally work here is if someone sends us something to review, if I don't like it, I won't review it. But I haven't been sent this to review. So what I thought I'd do is just to give my opinion on this particular product, which is Ableton Live's amp plugin. Ableton Live is a fantastic product. It's really sort of geared towards electronic musicians, although it has an amp simulator plugin in it. When I tried the amp simulator in Apple Logic Pro, I actually thought there's nothing that could be worse than that. But Ableton have managed to do it, and they've created an amp simulator that actually sounds worse than the one in Logic. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against amp simulator plugins. The ones in Studio One, PreSonus Studio One, is fantastic. The ones in Universal Audio's Luna are absolutely fantastic, but these are shocking. So what I'm going to do today is just to go through some of the amp simulations inside of Ableton, and then we're going to have a look at a couple of other DAWs to show you how they can make it sound so much better. So let's do that. Okay, what I'm going to do is to copy the amp simulator plugin onto this track. That's great, and I really like the way that it does this. You've got a separate amp simulator to a separate speaker simulator. So if you don't want to use a speaker simulation, you haven't got to load in that plugin. So let's go to the cabinet and let's load in a 4x12 cab. So it sounds like this. Okay, so that's not terrible. We've got all these different choices of amplifiers here. So we've got the choice of clean, boost, blues. Now you can see why they've kept it on the blues setting because it's the best of the bunch. Rock, lead, and heavy and bass. Let's go to heavy. Now, if you want a really bad fuzz tone, that's absolutely perfect. Now, let's go to the lead setting. So on the lead setting and on the heavy setting, you can see that the amp is supposed to be something like a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. Now, there's a dual rectifier. I know what a dual rectifier is supposed to sound like. It doesn't sound anything like this. They actually got Softtube in to work on these amplifiers. Now, Softtube are a great company that make some great products, and they actually make some great amplifiers for the Universal Audio Apollo system, but they sound nothing like this. Okay, let's go through a couple of different options. So we can change the speaker type here to 1x12, 2x12s. There's the 1x12. Here's the 2x12. We've got the 4x12, which I've already shown you, and the 4x10. Now, I get it. I get that Ableton is designed for your more electronic music producers. I completely get that. And maybe they've done it in a way that you're supposed to use it on, say, like some of the synths that are in Ableton, but then don't market it as a guitar amp plugin, market it as a distortion plugin. Let's have a look at some other DAWs to see how they should have done this. So if we go to Studio One, now the amp plugin that comes with Studio One is called Ampire. It looks like this, but already the graphical interface is so much better than the ones in Ableton. So let's have a quick listen to some of the sounds that come out of this. So that is what a lead or a high gain amp sounds like. Now let's change the amp there to something that's a bit cleaner. Let's choose the Blackface Twin, which is like a Fender style amp. So much more inspiring tones. So now let's have a quick look at Universal Audio's Luna. Now, Luna is different because these amps are paid add-ons, but you can hear the quality difference and see just the graphical interface difference between this and, say, Ableton. So let's have a listen to the Sir amp. So that's the Sir PT100. That's a high gain amp. It actually has 3 channels, but you can get a variety of different sounds, but that's one you can get for Luna. You can also get this for Ableton as well, but we're trying to show, you know, all the different DAWs. Let's have a look at another one. And this is the Fender Tweed that you can get for Apollo. Now, all of the amps that I've tried out on Studio One and on Luna, they all feel dynamic. They all feel, you know, more or less how a valve amp would sound. That's the difference between these DAWs and, say, you know, the amp plugins that come with Ableton. So what are a couple of options if we're using Ableton Live and we need some, you know, decent guitar tone? Now, you can use that PreSonus Ampere plugin. That's available for all DAWs, but let's go through another option, which for me is one of my favorites, which is S-Gear. A lot of these amp simulator type plugins really struggle with those sort of breakup tones. Now, Scuffham S-Gear has really sorted that out where it sounds great, and you can get tones like this. You know, those clean sort of sounds just on the verge of breakup. But it also does really good, clean and overdriven sounds. Let's try a couple more. And let's try an overdriven sound. Now, when you're playing through this plugin, it actually has the same sort of response as when you're playing through a valve amp. So you can really get loads of dynamics out of it. Now, there is a new version of Ableton coming out, so fingers crossed that they're going to sort out the guitar amps come out with that. Now, if you do want to have a look at some of these amplifiers that I've gone through today, the PreSonus one, if you're not using Studio One, it is available for other DAWs. So it's really worth checking out, and I'm sure somewhere there's a demo that you can get if you want to try it out. I really hope you guys got something out of that. If you did get something out of it, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll be notified of any future video that comes out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.